I'm sorry, is that a Logan Sargeant point? Am I going to be an obnoxious American today? You're darn right I am. Sorry for the language. That's right, Logan Sargeant is officially an F1 point scorer. He may have needed some disqualifications, but you know what? Williams follows the rules. Logan Sargeant scored a point, baby. Let's go. Everyone's celebrating. All right, seriously, let's get to the real stuff. Podium sitter Lewis Hamilton, who finished second in the race, was chasing down Max Verstappen at the end, has been disqualified, along with sixth place finisher Charles Leclerc. That's right. Post-race inspection happened. That was a thing. And it did not go well for the Mercedes or the Ferrari. Here's what F1 had to say. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have both been disqualified from the United States Grand Prix. Following the race in Austin, their cars were inspected post-race and irregularities were spotted by the FIA technical team after a plank wear inspection was carried out. The delegate report said that the skids located in the area, minus 825 greater than XR greater than or equal to dash 1025 are found to be not in compliance with Article 3.5.9E colon or parenthesis of the 2023 Formula One technical regulations. I know exactly what that means. Not really. As such, both were immediately referred to the stewards. Hamilton had finished a brilliant second, harrying the triumphant Max Verstappen all the way to the line. He had been running a new floor at this event, Mercedes bringing their last major upgrade package of the year to Austin. Leclerc crossed the line in sixth, fractions of a second ahead of the second Mercedes of George Russell after falling back in the late stages on the less favorable one-stop strategy. Both teams sent a representative to speak to the stewards, stating that the high wear of the skid pads was probably a result of the unique combination of the bumpy track and the sprint race schedule that minimized the time to set up and check the car before the race. However, the stewards noted that the onus is on the competitor to ensure that the car is in compliance with the regulations at all times during an event. In this particular case, the rear skid in the area defined in the technical delegates report was outside of the thresholds outlined in article blah, blah, blah of the regulations, blah, 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 which includes a tolerance for wear. So yeah, that means there are new results to this race. Let's get a good look at them. So that means Max Verstappen is still your winner. Okay. Lando Norris gets promoted to second place. Carlos Sainz. How many times does Carlos Sainz get promoted to a podium after he hasn't finished on the podium on track? Brazil 2019, Hungary 2021. Today, I'm missing one. I got to be missing at least one. But Sergio Perez gets promoted to fourth. George Russell up to fifth. Pierre Gasly up to sixth. Lance Stroll up to seventh. How about that? Yuki Tsunoda up to eighth. That is huge for AlphaTauri. Ninth place, Alex Albon in 10th place. Finally scoring a point in one of his home races. Miami is technically closer to where he's from, but it's one of his home races and he scored a point. We will take it here in the United States. Points are points. Doesn't matter how you get them. It's a point. In the history books, Logan Sargeant, point scorer. F1 had a post. I think it said that Logan Sargeant, he's the first point scorer. Yeah, it says he's the first American F1 point scorer since 1993. It's been 30 years. That's crazy. But yes, Logan Sargeant ends up in the points after Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have been disqualified due to illegal, floor? Something with the floor. I gotta admit, I'm not a technical genius, so as I'm sure you figured out by this video already. But yeah, I mean, if the car is not legal, you got to disqualify it. We've seen disqualifications in NASCAR happen a lot over the past 2 years. So, but yeah, for it to happen here in F1, it's a huge deal, especially when it's two big teams like Mercedes and Ferrari, especially when Lewis Hamilton finished on the podium. That is a huge hit to them in the constructors because now Sainz finishes on the podium. And Leclerc, while he was disqualified, that means they outscored Mercedes in the race because Sainz finishes on the podium. Russell finishes, what did I say, 5th or 6th? So after a big gain for Mercedes, it ends up being a gain for Ferrari, even though they lost a car out of this too. But I think the biggest winners in this, Williams to get a double point score, and also AlphaTauri, a huge. Yuki Tsunoda goes from scoring 2 points. Remember, he got the fastest lap in the race, to now scoring 5 points. That is huge for their fight for, 9th in the Constructors with Alfa Romeo and Haas as well. So I guess they're really fighting for 8th. But huge changes in the standings, huge changes in the race results. Logan Sargeant is a point scorer in Formula 1. So how about that? Thanks for watching this video. If you missed my race recap, go watch that. The NASCAR race wrapped up a little bit over an hour ago. Go watch that race recap as well. If you're interested in the next race at the US of A, I did a Vegas track walk last week. Go check that out. I got a playlist, all things F1 Vegas. And I will see you guys in the next video, whether it's news or it's the race next week in Mexico.